So I really didn't want this to be my first video out of anything that I posted, but we need to talk and we need to have a serious conversation. And it's going to be sensitive, so I would say keep your comments clean because I really don't want to deal with dirty comments or even mean comments in the bottom. And this video is mainly about political assassinations over the last 60 years. And just to name off a few, we're talking John F. Kennedy and his brother, Robert, Martin Luther King Jr., Leo Ryan, Allard K. Lowenstein, Melissa Hortman and her husband, 3 attempts on Donald Trump, Shinzo Abe, and the most recent successful assassination on anybody is former speaker, late founder of Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk. This is no longer about Democrat versus Republican. This is not about Christians versus Muslims. This is not about left versus right. This isn't about any of that anymore. This is now humanity versus insanity. And I know you've all probably heard it multiple times, but over the last 60 years, political violence, both assassinations that were successful and unsuccessful, have been on the rise. And everybody's wondering, why is this all so hard? Why is this on the rise as it is? And there's only one answer that I have for you all, and whether you want to agree with me or not doesn't matter. It stays the same, and it's the one common denominator amongst everything, and is dehumanization. And we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna talk about the things that are constantly said. But it starts with MLK, one of the first civilian political assassinations that are taught in history books. Yes, he was after John F. Kennedy, but John F. Kennedy wasn't called these horrible things like Martin Luther King Jr. was. And no, while I don't agree with the way he lived his life, he lived his life behind a veil. I don't agree with the way he lived his life, but I agree with the overall point of what he was trying to say, of civil equality. But he's one of the first political assassinations to happen in the last 60 years. He was constantly dehumanized. If you watch the videos of him over the last few years of his life while he's doing these civil rights movements, he's constantly called things, he's constantly treated a specific way. And it wasn't as bad back then, but he was called slurs, he was called that terrible man, and in a sense they are corrected in the way he lived his life. Yes, it was not great, but based on his political views, he was seen as such a horrible person for wanting civil equality. And so everybody demonized him to be a target and an enemy of the state and of America. Next, let's talk about Melissa Hortman, one of the more recent assassinations. She was assassinated in her home, in her bed, in the middle of the night, after voting on a budget deal the day before. She was trying to cut a deal to get the things she wanted, but whenever it comes to Congress, that's not going to happen. You have to make deals. You have to cut things that you don't want to cut. You have to add things that you don't want to add just to get that deal in place. And for voting yes on that deal, she was called things like a traitor and a fascist and a Nazi, to the point where someone got it in their head to go kill her in her bed in the middle of the night. We're gonna go out of the United States with we're gonna talk about out of the states with Shinzo Abe. He was called divisive, arch-conservative during his second term in office as Prime Minister of Japan. And the Western media, rather than debating him on his politics, they demonized him. They covered only his scandals and turned him into a monster and into a demon. I don't agree with some of his politics, but it still happened, and it should not have happened. Western media turned him into this demon, while Eastern media was willing to debate him on his politics. For the most recent ones, some of the harder ones that are to cover, we have President Trump, who I don't agree with, but the political attacks on him are not necessary. You don't need to believe me on what I'm about to say. You can go look for yourselves on Twitter, on TikTok, on Twitch. It's all over the place, calling him things like a fascist, calling him a Nazi, calling him a bigot and a homophobe. And I don't agree with his policies. I don't agree with a lot of his policies. I don't agree with a lot of what he says. But the main problem is rather than debating him on his topics, and while I agree, yes, he shoots just as low, calling people names, but rather than talking about the issue at hand, we have chosen as a society to dehumanize the man to the point where someone got it in their head, not once, but twice. Once in Butler, Pennsylvania, by this guy, this coward who killed an innocent man in the background, a father, and then by this guy. The dude who tried to kill him in Butler, Pennsylvania, is known as Thomas Crooks, and the man that tried to kill him in West Palm Beach is named Ryan Routh. It's wrong. These political assassinations are wrong. You don't have to agree with the person putting out their policies or the president. You don't have to agree with them. But there's no need to dehumanize someone so much and to the point that someone gets it in their head to murder them. And we will constantly talk about a man so much, so deeply, so hard, that it becomes the center of our lifestyle. And that's shown with the most recent successful one, which is, I believe, 2 weeks ago at the recording of this video. This video is recorded on September 24th. On September 10th, there was an assassination attempt at Utah Valley University. And the person that was killed was the father, husband, activist, Charlie Kirk. He started his ideas at 18. It snowballed in popularity because he would clip his debates where he would talk to people on the street, usually at a college campus. And he snowballed in popularity from there. All he wanted was free speech. He wanted to talk. He would debate. That's it. And for that, he was called names. He was called things like fascist, Nazi, homophobe, transphobe, bigot, racist, sexist. He was called all these things. And then suddenly, on September 10th, he was killed. And it's difficult to talk about this without getting into problems, it's difficult to talk about this topic because you can denounce the killings on one side, these murders, and it's okay. But then a staggering 15% of the population were celebrating and justifying the murder of an innocent man, of a father, of a husband whose kids are never going to grow up without a dad. The daughter will never be shown what a true man is supposed to act like. The son will never learn from his dad how to change the oil on his car. Because we dehumanized a man. We dehumanized a person, a human being, to the point where somebody got it in their head to kill him. And we celebrated this evil. 40 million people celebrated this evil, and it's surprising. But you don't need to believe me. But here's the clips of what has happened.
Let's all join hands and bow our heads in thoughts and prayers for Charlie Kirk. Thoughts and prayers for Charlie Kirk. Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers.
I have breaking news. We think that Charlie Kirk just got shot in the neck. Hey, ooh, ah, ooh.
Oh my god, guys, did you hear? The world's finally started to heal. Charlie Kirk was shot. Ooh.
Charlie's dead. How nice.
He said that gun deaths are worth it to keep the Second Amendment. Alright. Bet, bitch.
You're telling me I wake up from a nap and a cis white man's shot and killed? Oh my god.
Charlie Kirk got shot and he's dead!
I bet if you ask Charlie now if he thought a few deaths so that everybody got to keep their Second Amendment rights was okay by him, I think he'd probably say, as long as it wasn't me. Guess he shouldn't have manifested that shit.
Bye, Charlie Kirk. Like you said, people getting shot and killed for the Second Amendment is so worth it. I never thought we'd agree on anything.
Oh no, someone shot Charlie Kirk. Look, I don't know who needs to hear this today, but that's how you pick up a woman.
I'm already seeing some of y'all do it. That moral standpoint of, oh, I don't care how you feel politically. Nobody deserves to, wrong. Some people do deserve to. He was a demon.
I swear I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy about this.
I'm not happy about this news. It's so unfortunate.
Let this be a lesson to all those other conservative freaks, those little weirdos with podcasts. Just know your necks are on the line. Your necks. No. Your necks.
The red-colored people are like, he was such a good person. Why did he get shot? If you've seen the video on Twitter, please listen to the last 10 seconds of what he said before he went. And if you, honestly, y'all, he had it coming. I'm so sorry.
That's why he shot Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk is dead? Ha! You live a hateful life, you get a hateful ending. Point blank, period. I don't feel sorry for you. You're not getting my thoughts and prayers. You're getting my ha-has.
What's your opinions of Kirk's death? I don't give a fuck about Kirk's death. Nigga, I don't give a fuck about no white man dying. I don't give a fuck about no motherfucking white boy dying.
Live by the sword, die by the sword. He did say that gun deaths were an acceptable side effect of gun rights.
They got him in the neck! They got him in the neck! Shit whip! Like a fucking samurai film! Oh! Good news! Good news, everyone!
He had 2 kids. Fuck his kids. He give a fuck about that white boy kid. They probably autistic anyway. He give a fuck about that white boy kid. Fuck them kids. Fuck that white boy.
CK got AK'd. And he's gone.
Across America, a lot of people are getting phone calls saying, don't come in today.
This man, his name is Tyler Robinson. This demon, praised by 40 million people, killed a father while others are making backhanded comments about gun control rather than focusing on the issue at hand of political violence. But how did we get to this point? And I'll tell you, but I don't have to tell you. I can show you. There's clips of people like Hassan Piker, Destiny, and others calling for political violence, telling others to go kill these people. And here are the clips right here.
I'm sick and tired of it. Left-wingers, liberals, you need to be fucking showing your opponent's guts on there, okay? You need to be gutting them. You need to be shanking these motherfuckers and letting their intestines just ride on stage. What the fuck is this shit, man? Slice them up. Slice them and fucking dice them. What the fuck is this?
874 Bellevue Drive, and I'm gonna kill you with my AR-15. Like that's the type of messages they were leaving in this dude's office, and he's resigning. Like he's literally, this is his last term. So I think that people are a lot more radical.
It's hurt poor people that they can afford housing in Berkeley. I don't know how that works.
My understanding is that the property owners who have properties there choose just not to rent it at all.
Yeah, kill them. Kill those motherfuckers and murder those motherfuckers in the street. Let the streets soak in their fucking red capitalist bloods, dude.
If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott. Okay? You wouldn't make Rick Scott, former governor of Florida, Rick Scott, you wouldn't make him the current, what is his current office? What is he? He's the Richard Lynn Scott, is an American attorney, businessman, politician, Navy veteran, serving as the senior United States Senator from Florida, a seat he has held since 2019.
About the crime statistics? Not exactly like...
You need conservatives to be afraid of getting killed when they go to events so that they look to their leadership to turn down the temperature. The issue is right now, they don't feel like there's any fear. Like, I don't know. It's like memes. It's just memes to everybody, I guess. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't care. I'm playing video games. Okay, I'm done today. I don't give a fuck. God, it's gonna be so fucking gay if I get killed in the next fucking 2 months of shit I'm doing. Well, the cuck shit out here. Please don't anybody make any actual fucking, the most cucked, weak-ass, fucking bullshit-ass speeches on my side. God, if it happens, holy shit, I'm gonna make a death note before I go out to go live and not... God, it's so cucked. It's so optics cucked. I think that liberals need to wake up and finally realize that if they're not willing to do it, it will never come down. If you wanted Charlie Kirk to be alive, Donald Trump shouldn't have been president for the second term. Every time he's in office, this happens. People joked about when Biden came in, it was so boring, nothing was going on. 7 out of 10 of the largest protests in American history have happened under Donald Trump.
This type of speech, especially when you have a platform as large as Hassan Piker's or Destiny's, should not be used for this kind of evil. It is disgusting. It's evil. It's unacceptable. Yet we have this rhetoric that's being shouted again and again from the tops of mountains until someone gets it in their head that what do we do with Nazis? Yes, we go kill Nazis. And that's not good, because you're labeling anybody that does not agree with you as a Nazi, and it's putting people's lives in danger. I mean, look at the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years where we've had all these attempts at assassinations and killings. And then finally, someone died. Finally. It took one of the largest names. It took one of the largest names in political media dying to wake everybody up to this humanity versus the insanity of life, of what's going on. I mean, we have children on the Roblox platform attending simulations of the murder of Charlie Kirk, and we're focused on whether it's the left or the right, while we're teaching our children young that this type of violence is okay, and it's not. You know, the first thing that comes to my mind when I talk about these things is how disgusting this is. And here's my final thoughts on the matter. But I think a lot, and I've thought a lot over the last 2 weeks of the comment made by George Orwell in his book 1984. When you cut out a man's tongue, you are not afraid of what he's saying, but what he will say. I think a lot about the Bible, where God said that whenever you spread my word and spread my message, they will be angry with you. They will spit venom at you. They will kill you. I think a lot about the families impacted by this and how I can easily be in this situation where I could be gone, murdered on the side of the street. My family find out 2 days later or the day of, and people will celebrate my death simply because I disagreed with them. And I know that's hard for people to accept, that I'm gone, they will miss me. I know it's hard to accept the concept of your death being celebrated by people that disagree with you. And it's disgusting. This type of rhetoric, this type of violence is completely disgusting. And It is a confusing world right now. It is a harsh reality. It's a harsh look behind the curtains of the mentally ill in the media, that someone got it into their heads over the last 60 years to go kill somebody simply because they disagree with you. Starting with Martin Luther King Jr. After him was Malcolm X. Well, I don't support the way he went about things with violence and by any means necessary. I don't agree with that. But his point of civil equality is what got him killed. Racial equality, his support for the black man and the white man to finally be integrated together is what got him killed. Free speech is what got Charlie Kirk killed. His stance on the Bible, his stance on his morals, because he wanted to follow what God told him to do in the Bible, is what got him killed. And that's what I think about when I think about these things. I know this was a tough first video for you guys to even watch, or if somebody's even watching this. I know not many people, it's hard to find people on YouTube. It's hard to find content on YouTube because it's just so oversaturated. I know this is a heavy topic for a first video ever to be posted by me specifically. But I want to know what you guys think. I want to know what you're thinking about. I'd like some feedback on these kinds of videos, on video essays. And, yeah. So, I'm sorry that this video is so heavy for a first ever video. And I hope you can forgive me for that. But this will be going up as soon as possible. And that's about it. I've been Ponderon. I want you to, and the whole point of this channel is to think about the incoming media. Think about what you read, think about what you watch, and intake what it has to say. This is Ponderon signing off.